Next thing I wanted to go over are choking protocols at the second page of the handout that we provided. When we're dealing with choking, it's important for us to know the difference between partial airway obstruction and complete airway obstruction. It's important for us to know the difference because our treatments will differ. In order for us to be able to treat our patients with partial versus complete, we need to know the difference. A partial airway obstruction is that we can hear some form of airway exchange, whether it's coughing, crying, wheezing, talking in half sentences, or it's a combination of all the above. I know there's some form of airway exchange because I can hear audible noises. With complete airway obstruction, they're still doing the exact same motions, but they are no longer able to get any form of airway exchange. Therefore, I cannot hear any more airway exchange. They're still doing the exact same motions, but again, no airway exchanges to be heard. That is complete airway obstruction. It's important for us to know those two differences because our treatments will differ depending on what the patient gives us. Once the patient does the universal sign of choking, once they do the universal sign of choking, but we need to ask our patient two questions before we can help. First question is we need to confirm that they are choking. Are you choking? Second question being consent. Can I help you? Now that you've obtained consent and you've obtained confirmation that they are choking, it's important that before we do anything else, check, call, care. We've now done the check part, but it's important that we need to make the call. If I'm unable to make the call and someone else is in the room here with me, then I can ask someone else to call 911. So what it would look like is I would go, are you choking? Yes. Can I help you? Yes. You call 911, let them know what we have and where we are. I've done my check, my partner has made the call, and together we provide the care for check, call, care. Now, when we're providing the care, again, this is important for us to recognize if it's a partial or if it's a complete airway obstruction. I need to pay attention if I hear any form of airway exchange. If I hear any form of airway exchange, all I'm really doing is I'm just encouraging the patient to give me a cough as loud and as frequent and as hard as possible. It's just give me your cough, keep coughing, keep going. They keep coughing until one or two things happen. Their food comes out, everyone is happy, or it becomes a complete airway obstruction, which means they're still doing the exact same motions, except I can no longer hear any form of airway exchange. Once and only once it's become a complete airway obstruction, now it's time for us to intervene with the 5 back blows, followed by 5 chest thrusts. When we're dealing with 5 back blows, it's important that if they're sitting down, we treat them in the position found. If they're standing up, we want to treat them standing up, although if we have the option, we want them sitting down as soon as possible. This will help for patients who are much taller than we are. Once we have the patient sitting down like so, once we've determined it's a complete airway obstruction, we want to start with 5 back blows, followed by 5 chest thrusts. With the back blows, before I hit my patient, I want to lean my patient forward. As I lean my patient forward, with the hand that's in front of my patient, I go underneath their near arm, I grab their far shoulder, and then I can lean them forward. The purpose of my hand being here is I can control my patient. So that way, if I need to lean them forward, I can help guide them. Another purpose of my front hand is that if my partner or my patient does lose consciousness, at least my hand here can help slow his or her weight down, so that way I can help them onto their back rather than them just falling onto their face. Now, as I go underneath their near arm, I grab their far shoulder, I lean my patient forward. The reason why I lean my patient forward is gravity working with me versus against me. I lean my patient forward, hit in between my patient's shoulder blades. So as I lean them forward, shoulder blades, right, left, right in the center here, I would like to do 5 firm back blows, followed by 5 firm J thrusts. With the heel of my hand, down is good, towards the head is better. 3, 4, 5. After the 5th back blow, I look in them up if anything's come off. If something's there, that's great. If nothing comes out, I now proceed with 5 chest thrusts. It's either 5 chest thrusts or 5 J thrusts, depending on the patient's size. If I'm able to get my hands underneath my patient here, I then form a fist with my dominant hand. I get a little bit lower. I would like my fist on the patient's diaphragm. The diaphragm essentially sits just proximal or above the belly button, or just distal or lower from where the ribs meet. If these are where my ribs meet and this is where my belly button is, the diaphragm sits almost exactly in the middle. So I shoot both my hands underneath here. I form a fist with my dominant hand. I go on top of the patient's diaphragm. I have my other hand secure my dominant hand here. And remember, this is good here, but thumb side touching the patient first is better. It's more direct to where to the patient's diaphragm. How I remembered it is, who's gonna save my patient, Bob? This guy is. Okay. All right. So thumb